शांत बोध नित सिमरन करना, बाल कृष्ण सुत सतचित धरना। नमन करूं मैं सतगुरु चरण। सहज ध्यान सहजोमय भजना, बाल सखा प्रिय साहेब पद्मा। नमन करूं मैं सतगुरु चरण। नमस्ते। It is going to be emotional for me, but I think I am strong enough to be emotional. I was going to sing these 4 lines, but then the boss, Kathy, is sitting here, and after listening to the way she beautifully rendered the Sahib, I thought description is better part of Veda, and I just simply read these lines. But as some friends in the audience know, somewhere in March 2014, I had written these quartet. I took the blessings of Padmanaabh, or Padma as we used to call him, whether he was okay with some of the words, like I had used Bala Krishna Sutta, and he was okay with that. We used to call him Baba, we used to call him Padma, and because we have known each other since we were probably 16 or 17 years of age, there were a few words with which I used to address him, which I will not repeat in front of such a nice audience. But he knows. It's a complete shock. It's unbelievable that in November 2014, he was there to receive me at ashram, which I have been frequenting since 1975-76. And just 4 or 5 days back, when I came to Vadodara, I went to the ashram, and it was his spirit. When Kunal informed me, he used very precise words on 5th of September when I was in Sarasota, Florida, that your Bal Sakha is no more. It took some time, a few seconds maybe. I was alone. I'm living there alone as my family is still in Sydney, Australia. And I just rolled on the floor and bitterly cried. And Mahendra Bhai, who was in London, knew that I am alone. And he and Talent and Skyped me, and we together cried. Because forget all the wonderful talks about enlightenment and achievement and Siddha Purush. He was a dear, dear friend. He lived in my heart. And if his Atma is so beautiful, and if we say that we can never lose his Atma, to me they were words. His physical presence moved me, guided me, explained to me things through words and without words. Visiting the ashram, Kavita Bhen was there, Simran and Satchit, and all the friends. And when Bobby Masi was around, she would welcome us with a glass of chas. It's impossible to not cry when this paradise is taken away from all of us. So then what is the best way to offer a Anjali? It is our Shraddha, it is our wish and prayer that what Padmanaabh Saheb experienced in his life, we do get a share of it. And what he is experiencing after shedding his body, we also experience a little bit of that. I am going to present on transactional analysis, which I studied as an MBA student more than 30 years back. But I have applied it in project management, in software project, and in day-to-day life. And I did have many chats with Padmanaabh Saheb about TA as well as many other things. So maybe today, let us share together a technique which is beyond a technique. There is a overlap between psychology and what we call spirituality, and perhaps transactional analysis, being a very, very simple technique in psychology, can offer us a path to what we in India call meditation. And if we have to remember Padmanaabh Saheb, then the only way to remember him is through the word meditation. So let us have a look at this, these few things that I plan to present. Let us see if it works. Then I need a volunteer. And by the way, I will manage time, and I apologize for the delay because I am coming straight from the Kumbh Mela in Ujjain, and just to get out of Ujjain was a challenge. And my bus, which was supposed to arrive at 4 a.m., arrived at 8 a.m. And but there was no way I was going to miss it. So I apologize, but I'm always very proud to say that I will manage time, and I am an Indian, especially outside India. Because there is a general criticism that Indians don't manage time, and I have a very big theory about it. And if I have to explain it in short, it really means we have so much of time. This life, next life, and life after that, 7 lives with our wives, although my wife strongly believes that this is our 7th. So when my Western friends, my American friends, my Australian friends, when they tell me that, why are you Indians always late? I tell them that because we have abundance of time. But that is what I say outside India. Inside India, I will agree with them that આપણે બહુ ઢીલા હોઈએ પણ રવિવારની સવારે આટલા બધા મિત્રો ભેગા થયા છે તો એ બહુ મોટી આનંદની વાત છે અને તો હું સમય જાળવવાનો પ્રયત્ન કરીશ. તો તમે 55 મિનિટ કીધા છો, દેટ્સ વેરી બેડ. કાં તો તમે અડધો કલાક કહો કે 1 કલાક કહો, કારણ આપણી યુનિટ ઓફ ટાઈમ ઇઝ 1 hour. So let's see how far I go. I'll take your permission if I'm going over time. But this is what I plan to share with you. And this is my profile, if you like. I generally got used to putting the profile together. But the key things to know here is I'm right now at the University of South Florida in a small village called Sarasota, which has #1 beach in America. This sells with my students in America quite well. I know in this audience there are some young students. I encourage all of you to connect with me, and if you want any tips or guidance on how to go to Australia or America, I've been helping students for last 30 years, and I do plan to continue to do that as much as I can. And the other thing that you may want to know is that I'm actually a life member of Computer Society of India and also Baroda Management Association. And tomorrow evening I am presenting on Agile and Project Management at the inaugural day of Management Week right here in Vadodara. So that's the presentation for tomorrow. I thought if you are interested in something more technical than what we are going to discuss. This is my 17th book, Art of Agile Practice. Padmanaabh Saheb appears somewhere in almost all my books as acknowledgement. And these are my reports that I mentioned in the introduction. I am interested in the psychological aspect of project management, software project management, and that's where I developed my theory. But today, I think as Bhargav was mentioning in his introduction, we are keen to know a bit more about ourselves. In fact, that's the existential problem. Who am I? And those who have achieved tell us that instead of trying to solve smaller problems, day-to-day problems of our lives, if we solve one big problem, one big challenge, who am I? Everything else will be solved. If you are familiar with Raman Maharshi's writings or talks, he hardly wrote anything. His entire teaching is encapsulated in Nanyar, which is in Tamil for who am I. And then there are a few J. Krishnamurti lovers, meanwhile sitting over there, and a few others. J. Krishnamurti always said, you cannot know who you are unless you are in relationship with someone else. Sitting in a cave is not the way to know who you are. There is someone like J. Krishnamurti saying there must be some value in it. So if these people who have achieved are telling us that you need to be in relationship, then I have no desire of going to the Himalayas right now. I want to relate to my wife. I want to relate to my teachers. I want to relate to my children. I want to relate to all of you, my friends. I want to relate to people who are not here right now, to be friends. Everything defines me. And I find that the genuinely enlightened people, I have no right to say who is and who is not, but this is my personal feeling. All those who are deep inside themselves never hesitate to relate to others. And a simple example I can give is Swami Varishtananji, the head monk of Transactional Mission Home of Service in Varanasi. He is actually Devendra Patel, my third standard friend in SHIL school right here in Vadodara. I went pursuing academia and job and family. He went into Gandhiji, Belur Math, and he's a pediatric and he's wearing ochre robes, shaved head, sitting in Varanasi, treating hundreds of patients every week. Last time I met him was 1984. Then I met him in 2016, about 15 days ago. And people change every week. So 32 years of gap, someone who is at the level of Swami Vivekananda, no doubt in my mind. How do I meet him? He's my friend. When we were wearing shorts and shirt and fighting, and he I reminded him he had his chashma came that time and we used to call him chashmis, chashmis. This is an enlightened being. So he was waiting for me at the door and my driver brought the car in. I got out and he started walking towards me. This is ochre robe, head shave, Swami Vaishnavanji, my childhood friend. And involuntarily when he came close, I started bending down to touch his feet. And he just scooped me up and gave me a big hug. With about 100 people in a circle watching what is going on here. Who is this guy? कहाँ से आ गया है ये? I had not even combed my hair because I had a 17-hour train journey from Haridwar to Varanasi. And here he was. He didn't need to comb his hair because he's a monk. And he just gave me a big hug. And all the concerns I had in my mind just vanished. Padmanaabh Saheb was one such friend with whom I could do exactly that. And I think few of his bhaktas, Bhargav and Nilesh over there and Jayati and Kunal and Jirisha, they used to be jealous of me. Because they would see that Padmanaabh Saheb is giving me a big hug and they would say, "Hamara Saheb ne adke che Maharaj. Hame unhe page padne che. What is going on?" I think simplicity in relationship is one of the key ways to understand myself. And I gave you these examples, some unchallengeable examples of people who have reached that highest state of meditation and remain very, very simple, very humble. So, when we are in a relationship, when we interact with each other, what happens? Since there are a few medical professionals in the audience, I don't want to go in the medical nitty-gritty. But a very simple thing that I have understood is right from the birth, the child is having transactions, interactions, starting with his mother or her mother, through to the family, schools, teachers, friends, and so on. And we find, and I will point out some research to you as well, that it seems the recording of these interactions are extremely high fidelity and permanent in the brain, especially in the first 6 years of life. And since I am talking in India, I suppose I have the freedom to talk about the Hindu lifestyle, where we have sanskaras, of which one of the sanskaras starts when the child takes shape in the mother's